Greetings everyone, this is Elizabeth and it's October 27th of our Halloween card series, and I don't have a ton of Halloween images, but I have stuff that will work. And today one of those images is this beautiful raven by Technique Junkies and a spiderweb hot foil plate by Spellbinders. And then we're going to use some stamps. These ones are Tim Holtz stamps. These are some Bow Bunnies. And I might throw in some stencils to make our layered background. Now, because the raven is a smaller image, what I was thinking we could do is do a couple of layers. So we're going to have our raven, and it's just going to be a small panel. Okay, we'll measure that out when we get there. And then we're going to have our normal size panel and a smaller panel. So it's going to be 3 layers of goodness, like so. So we're going to have a nice fat border. And so we'll be able to see some beautiful stuff here, and we're going to stamp some stuff here, and then we'll hot foil those spider webs on. I think it's just going to be beautiful. And we're going to do it in a black and white combo. Let me grab that black card base. So we're going to have a black card base, our white panel with just a hair of black, and our black panel, and then another white on top. It's gonna be so gorgeous, and we're going all out. As the other 2 videos have shown, these are not simple cards. So I'm gonna get started. Don't know where. I think we'll stamp first. We'll stamp our raven first, just to make sure it's nice and dry, and we can then decide if we need to ink it up or anything like that. And I'm gonna grab which one do I want? Yeah, I think I'll grab my Misty today, just because I might need to re-stamp this a couple times. And because it's a red rubber stamp, we're going to take the guts out of our stamping platform, and we're just going to set that straight in there. No pads or anything. We can use that magnet, and we can pick that up. Because I know my black ink is not fabulous. I'm still waiting on my ink refill for my other one, the VersaFine Clair. So we're going to have to ink this up a few times. And we're just going to rub and tap and smish. It is beautiful, but definitely not dark enough for me. Joy about your stamping platforms, and there are so many of them out there. If you watch a lot of other YouTubers, pay attention to what they're using. Definitely more cost friendly. I fell onto the Misty wagon. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Okay, so let's clean our stamp. During your cleanup, don't hesitate to grab an extra sheet of something and see what we can do. I'm gonna go let this one dry way over there. Now, Halloween can also be very romantic in a gothic kind of sense. Okay, so we're gonna have that there. There's our main base, which, you know, we're gonna have that foil, the spiderweb foil. So I'm going to take a gold pen and just go around the edge. So we're going to trim this one down just a hair. So our panel is 4 1/4 So we're going to go just a little less than 4 1/4. And then 5 1/2, and again a little less than a half there. And we're going to double check because, you know, between paper and measurements, human error can occur. Now I have way more border at the top, and I don't like this black edge, so I'm going to trim that off real quick so I can get a true measure. There we go, of our white panel. Okay, so I do have a lot at the top and bottom. That is quite a bit. So we're going to trim a little bit more off the side. And just eyeball it till it makes sense to you. And I like that layer, so we're good with that. Now we're going to have a bolder white area, which is not going to stay white. We're going to decorate that sucker up. So I'm thinking maybe, yeah, so it's normally 4. That inner panel is about 4. So we're going to come down to a little over 3 1/2. And that's not quite enough, so let's go to 3 1/2. Oh, that's not a half. There's a half. Sometimes this is what it is. You take your idea. Let's try that, because we also have our bird. And just trim that down a little so I get kind of an idea where we need to be with that. So that's over 3 1/4. But there's a lot of white space over there, so if we did this at 3, oh, that would give us a nice border there too. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm liking that. And this was 3 1/2, so we took off a half, a quarter, so 3/75, 3/4. So there's a half and there's our quarter. And take a little bit off the top. And we'll deal with that big old white space up there. No problem. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's beautiful. And we're going to zhuzh it up so it's not stark white. We're going to grab our Misty. And we're going to grab that stamp. And we're going to expand. Do some expanding of those dots. Okay. And we don't need a platform or anything. We're just going to add those dots just like that. Okay. Here we go. I don't know why I just dipped that back in the ink. That we've just expanded that stamp to suit our purposes, and we're gonna ink this little goodie up. Let's do a little bit of shimmering bliss, whatever shimmery stuff you have. I'm just gonna do a light spray just to add some mica to there. Okay. Kind of adds more spots. Super nice. Just 2 little teeny squirts. Ooh, look at that. And you can squirt after you do your ink blending, but I'm gonna do it before just to tone it back a little. Okay. But I need to let that dry. So while that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and stamp up this little black piece. And this Tim Holtz, all we're gonna do is ink it up in some white and just stamp like crazy. Stamp all over. What do you think of that panel? I was doing the white and I thought that's where I was going to stop, and then I was like, nope, it needs a little pop of something. So I just took some Lunar paste, bee sting right through a stencil, and isn't it yummy? And this is the stencil that came with the stamp set, so they pair very nicely. And the red is a representation. And our little crow, oh man, I got a little bit of Lunar paste on. Ooh, well, that's interesting. I just went to wipe that off and it rubbed a little bit of red in there, so we might have to add a little bit more red in there to make that look like it was on purpose. I better get this out of here before I make bigger mess. Grab these ornate ones, that one and that one, and I like this one, and yeah, these I do want to stamp a little bit darker, but they don't have to be perfect. And again, these are Bo Bunny stamps. Let's stamp these, actually, let's stamp these in red and I want to heat emboss these. I'm going to have to do this in the Misty because that red does not heat emboss well, and that is okay. Okay, so when you have an ink that you want heat embossed, but it doesn't heat emboss well, you can, actually, let's turn that way. I want it off the page a little. You can stamp it in the color you want and then Versamark over the top of that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Because I want it to stay red when I do ink blending and stuff over the top of it. Let me make sure. I want to make sure enough of that is going to show. No, we need that right on the edge. That's okay. Reposition. Oh, and it was a little dirty from the last time. My bad. Oh. Okay. Sometimes that's how it rolls. That should be all right because it's going to be on the inside of the card. So we're going to put this right on the edge. Okay. I'm going to pick it up. Make sure this stays in the corner. Get our rock in red. Very light taps. These are super extra juicy. Like, you don't even need to get a lot on there. Get that nice and red. Okay, before moving that, we are going to clean it. Yeah, don't move, stamp. I need you to stay put. Oh, and that just moved. Oh, I hope that... well, that was rude. Sometimes this happens, and luckily this is a nice clear stamp. We're just going to put it right back over our project, like so. Like so. It looks good. We shall see. Pick that up. Oh. Nothing like making a lot of errors here. But this happens, right? You're working along and you're like, oh man, why did I do that? It actually felt like it stayed put. It might be off a little bit. Let's try this again. Line up the dots. The dots are the easiest to line up, and then you can kind of adjust everything else. There we go. That looks better. All this work for one card. It's worth it though. Sometimes you just gotta take your time and really work with a particular design. Beautiful. Just like so. And we need our clear. And don't be stingy with your powder. Oh, I forgot to dust, but that's okay. That might be fun, having little white specks underneath our ink blending, but not too many. Get rid of some. We have finished heat embossing all of this, and I'm not worried about the center because we're going to cover that up. But yeah, now it's time to inky the goodness. We're going to grab some blues, some purple, and some black. And I think I'm going to start with black and let the other colors darken up with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it right around the edges. Okay. I did go in with a little bit of Lunar paste and hit it with the gold because I forgot that I wanted to do some spider webs. And I should have done these first because the heat embossing would get messed up using this second. So this will be used on another card. That's okay. Sometimes that happens. But my Lunar paste, I have a sponge here that's crusty. I had used it and didn't clean it. I didn't clean it right away. And so when it dried to the sponge, it made it all crusty, which makes for fun application. So a crusty sponge versus a clean sponge. And this one I've used in the Lunar paste a lot of times. I just hose it down with the sprayer. You can rinse it off in the sink and it will actually stay soft for you. So don't discard it if it accidentally dries. You can still do some fun pouncing techniques just to add that touch of gold or whatever color you need. That one's slippery when wet. It's part of his yellow colors. And oh, look at, and we just bring that right in. How fabulous is that? Now this one, we're gonna pop up this one, and then we're gonna lay, I don't know, we might pop them all up just because. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's almost, this isn't quite dry. That's okay. I'll let it dry some more before I finish. But I do want darker edges. Seeing it next to that, I feel they need to be darker. Okay, this is much better in the darker edging. And while I was at it, I did tone back some of the edge by adding more black in and toned back that white. You can still see some of it popping through, but I think it added to that too. Just a little bit more black back in. And yeah, I'm really liking these. But I think I'm going to do this one flat and I'm going to pop up this one. So let's get some glue on this little goodie. Powder and stuff everywhere. While this is drying for a little bit longer, we're going to go ahead and add some color to this. I am going to add just a hint of red, just because we got red right there. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit more of the purple and the blue. Just a little bit though, not too much. I think we're going to do this rather softly. Okay, just brush it in. Look at that. And this is why I like inking on a glass mat or a media mat, because that ink is not soaking in. It's not paper, so it's still there, and we can just keep grabbing it to add more. Okay. Such a beautiful color. Look at that. A little bit of blue on top of that. Find my blue. There we go. Okay, again, I'm just going to tap it and then just scoop it on in. So it's just faint. Come in just a little bit darker. Just like so. Oh, look at that. Okay, now we got to figure out how to add that red in so it looks like we did it on purpose, even though we have this little bit of boo-boo going on. And I'm thinking we're just gonna get a little palette knife and scrape teeny bits on. Okay, and I don't want a lot, so I'm gonna get the one with the pointy tip. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go around the edges and make it look like we actually did that on purpose. And a little bit of Lunar paste goes a long way. And the thinner it is, the quicker it dries. Okay. Like that. Oh, look at that. And I know you guys probably can't see it, but the spray, okay, you can still see the mica from the spray, even though we inked over the top of it. And now we have another layer of shimmer with the Lunar paste. And oh, camera doesn't want to focus on it. How rude. But I think it's just gorgeous. And the even though it's just a raven or a crow, the sentiment on the inside, whatever I write, will convey that it's definitely a Halloween card. Okay, but I think the romantic-y blacks and reds and the richness of it also conveys that a bit. Not a traditional Halloween card by any means, but a good way to use items that aren't Halloween for Halloween. I'll just do a little bit of cleanup here. This little spot right there is not quite dry. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and assemble this. What do you guys think? Oh, I just love this. Oh my goodness. I'm not in love with this bronze color I chose, but that's okay. That's okay. I do love the red embossing. The red just really makes that. It shouts Halloween to me. I'm just creepy, gothic. I mean, if you know a goth person, you could send this to them for a birthday, anytime. Somebody that loves ravens. And then you can write with a red gel pen. That would be fun. That actually is a really good idea. I think I would put a white paper in here and then write with a red ink. That would just really make this sing. I am so pleased with it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if this inspires you to do something crafty, be sure to hashtag #ChatWithSassy on Instagram or Facebook. We'd love to see what you created. And you can also join our Facebook group, Chat with Sassy's Crafty Friends, and post your goodies there too. And it doesn't have to be card making. It could be scrapbooking, sewing, jewelry making. Any kind of crafts are allowed. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.